Dennis Lee Stark was born on October 10, 1955 in Martinez, California. He was the middle child of Thomas Lester Stark and Annabelle Stark, born Nutt. He has an older sister, Teresa Engler, an older brother, Thomas Stark Jr., Buster, and two younger brothers, Mark Stark and Charles Stark. He grew up and attended school in Pittsburgh, California, with the exception of his third grade year when the family lived near Annabelle's relatives in Columbus, Kansas. Dennis graduated from Pittsburgh High School in 1973 and joined the United States Marine Corps that year. In boot camp at Camp Pendleton, he lost so much baby fat that he was unrecognizable to his own brother when Buster picked Dennis up at the airport. In the Marines, he served abroad in Okinawa, Japan, but he returned stateside after an injury he suffered became infected. In February 1976, he met his first wife, Debbie Nyberg, through his friend Doug Tesh, who lived across the street from her. Due to car trouble that night, Debbie ended up grounded for 2 weeks, but they started dating after that. They were married 6 months later on August 14, 1976. The couple had 2 children together, a daughter, Stacy Stark, born in 1977, and a son, Jeffrey Stark, born in 1980. In 1981, they bought a house on Diokno Court in Pittsburgh, where they met neighbors who became friends and over the years graduated to family. They lived there for the rest of their 25-year marriage. Dennis and Debbie separated in October 2002 and later divorced.
The same injury that sent Dad home from Okinawa led to his early discharge from the Marines. He then went to work for Kaiser Associates in San Francisco, repairing military ships up and down the West Coast and over to Hawaii. On one trip to Southern California, he was able to have his family meet him for a visit to Disneyland. He also toured the ships he worked on with his family during San Francisco's Fleet Week. In 1996, he became a transfer driver with the Recycle Center and Transfer Station in Pittsburgh. He enjoyed a short commute and spending mornings at home as he worked on the swing shift. During a routine DOT physical in 1999, Dennis discovered he had throat cancer. He immediately stopped smoking and was able to get the cancer into remission with radiation. Unfortunately, the radiation damaged his salivary glands and his love for extremely spicy food. Dennis became a grandfather for the first time in 2000. He has a total of 4 grandchildren, Nicholas, Natalie, Evan, and Anna, who are home in St. Louis.
In February of 2003, he asked a lady out on a date, and the rest is history. Stacy and Dennis dated for almost 3 years and were married December 17th, 2005 at the Flamingo Hotel in Las Vegas. It was the closest thing to tropical within driving distance in December. When Stacy and Dennis were first dating, Stacy expressed that she had a lot of baggage, to which he replied, "I collect baggage." Duffel bags and suitcases, along with hats and jackets, which he always managed to acquire and bring home. Dennis loved Stacy's kids, Jessica, Kyle, and Megan, who were 9, 6, and 3 when they started dating, like they were his own. He taught them unconditional love. In his words, "Once you've raised them, they're yours." In July of 2006, the family moved to Roseville when Jessica was a freshman in high school. The children were still involved in activities in the Bay Area, and Dennis would go see them whenever he wasn't working. Dennis was still working at his job in the Bay Area, but started working at Save Mart in October 2006.
Dennis and Stacy's love for adventure and spontaneity took them many places, including Mexico, Hawaii, and the Caribbean, as well as jaunts around California and the U.S. Dennis loved going camping in Yosemite and anywhere he could find a spot to put his tent or trailer. He enjoyed walks on the beach and searching for tide pools for sea creatures and shells. On his most recent trip to Mexico, he loved the horseback riding, snorkeling, and hiking.
In January of 2008, Dennis was baptized at St. Matthew Lutheran Church, where the family had been attending for 7 months. He became active in the church without actually holding any official position. He was always around, helping out and pitching in with whatever activity his wife had gotten him into. It was very important to him that him and his family had went to church on Sundays, even when Stacy had a million reasons not to go. He would remind her that Jesus is the only reason they needed. In July of 2015, Dennis was diagnosed with high-grade, poorly differentiated neuroendocrine carcinoma. He responded very well to treatment and went into full remission. In just a few months, he visited the Grand Canyon, Area 51, Pismo Beach twice, Fort Bragg, and Disneyland. He also managed a trip to the Renaissance Fair and a San Francisco Giants game, which he loved. His cancer returned with a vengeance, but he never lost his smile, wit, or faith. He was thankful for the many blessings and for the time he had to do what he did. Dennis had come to terms with what was to come and that he was ready to meet the Lord. He went to heaven on February 18th, 2016, surrounded by his loving family and friends.